Good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to thank you for joining our Ask Me Anything session. We've got some folks still dialing in, so we're going to give everyone just a couple of minutes and then we'll be right back. Okay, we are just a couple of minutes past, so we'll go ahead and get started. Once again, thanks everyone for attending our Ask Me Anything session for today. My name is Carol Kennedy. I'm an account manager with ApplicantStack, and on the line with us today is my colleague, Ellen. Ellen will be helping today. Brandon, unfortunately, was unable to make it today. But our topic for today is modifying your jobs table. We'll go ahead and take about 5 to 10 minutes to go over that functionality, and then we'll be sure to open up the floor for questions. Those questions don't have to be related to that topic. They can be anything ApplicantStack, and we will do our best to answer those for you. With that, everyone should be able to see my screen. I'll go ahead and open up my demo account. And again, our topic is modifying your jobs table, so I'll go ahead and hop on over to the jobs tab in my system. And the jobs table will list the open jobs that you are currently working. We can see we've got a number of different columns here. We've got department location, is that full-time or part-time? This table is customizable, and we'll be sure to go into that and show you how you can change these items, how you can add or take away from this table if you would like. I will use my little scroll bar here to come over to the right just a little bit. We've got some information about when that job was created, when it was last modified, where that job is posted, has that job been sponsored on Indeed, and so forth. You'll see we have some actions here. You can view that job, clone the job. If you have a similar one that you'll be working, perhaps make a copy of that. You can edit, or not sure I would recommend it, but you could delete that job if there's no longer a need for that job in your system. So that is just a brief overview of the jobs table. Again, we can modify this to meet your needs. The information that already appears here can be changed. If you want to, perhaps you've had a reorg and want to change the department on this job, you can simply click on that information, change that, and submit that change. Same idea, is that maybe it was a part-time job, now it's a full-time job. You can change that information as well. If your table's getting a little bit unmanageable, let's just say there's quite a bit of information, you find yourself scrolling from left to right, we have the adjust columns available for you. So you can click on that, and perhaps you don't want to see that information. You can simply uncheck that and submit that change, and that will take that off of your table and you won't see that. So maybe consider adjusting that down just a little bit. If you would like to add a field to this table, let's talk about that. Your administrator user should have configuration capabilities in the system. They would simply come to the upper right under, could be your picture or a little head and shoulders icon. They would come to setup. And then on the left, they would come to configure. And then you would come into job fields. So we can see what we have currently existing. And you would simply create a field. You would simply give that a name. Go ahead and enter a description. Is that a text box that you'll simply type information into? Perhaps it's a date field. Perhaps it is a select many option. So you'll go ahead and select your type. You can make that field required or optional. You can make it private if you would like. That would only be visible to recruiters, and that will not be visible to hiring managers. You can show that on your job board if you would like for candidates to see that information as they are applying, or for now, we'll keep that as no. Show on jobs table for this demonstration here, I've marked that as yes. And do you want to see that on your candidates table as well? Right now we have that marked no. Okay, so you simply save that information and that would become available on your jobs table. So I created this yesterday, but we have Ask Me Anything test just for demonstration purposes. And if I come back to my jobs table, we see that column should now appear on your jobs table. Same idea, you could just simply click into that field if you want to change that. In this case, it was a text box, so I can just type in and I can submit that information and that will track. Okay, one thing I did want to show you, let me go back to our configuration section. Once you have those fields in place, you can reorder those fields if you would like. You'll simply click and drag. And let's go back to our jobs. Let's go ahead and create a job. I want to show you where that will appear. We can go ahead and start with a blank form. And now we can see that that AMA test field is available here. When we go to create a job, your team will be prompted to complete that information. So that could be anything relevant to the job. For example, location, full-time, part-time. Maybe you want to track internally your salary range for that position. Who is the recruiter working that particular position? So lots of different ways to customize that. And then you will be prompted to complete that information. If you set it up as a drop-down, you'll have some drop-down options. If you set that field up as a calendar or a date, you'll have a calendar picker, and you can pick that date. Okay, and that is pretty much from start to finish how to modify your jobs table, create fields for yourself to customize that to your needs. So with that, we'll go ahead, we'll open up the floor for questions. Again, they don't have to be related to this topic, but Ellen will be assisting with those. If you could go ahead and type your questions into the questions panel. Again, we will do our best to answer those for you.
All right, I am going to jump in, Carol. Great job, thank you. Looks like one of our participants lost their sound, but I continued to hear you, Carol. So hopefully that was just a one-off issue. That's from Melanie. So this will be recorded, I believe, and sent to participants. So one way or another, Melanie, if she was not able to hear us, should be able to access the recording of this webinar and benefit from it as well. There are no other questions at this time. So please go ahead and take a minute. If you do have any questions for any of you attending the webinar, please go ahead and, as Carol said, put them in the questions box. And your questions can be about anything ApplicantStack, both recruit and onboarding. And the only thing, or a couple things I'd like to mention while we see if any questions are being posed, is we do have a recruit webinar scheduled for May 16th. And you can sign up for that recruit webinar via the link in the announcement section of your ApplicantStack homepage. And We also have scheduled, or will have scheduled, Ask Me Anything hours throughout August. So please keep an eye on those in the announcement section of your ApplicantStack homepage for those links. You'll be able to register for, obviously, Ask Me Anything hours, as well as product webinars, both recruit and onboarding. All right, we do have a couple questions, Carol. Can a candidate receive forms for them to fill out and submit without being hired?
Okay. I'm trying to think this through. That it sounds to me like that would be the onboard side of the system. The tricky part with that is these two systems are integrated. So when you change a candidate to hired in Recruit, they will feed over into onboard. So if you don't change them to hired, they wouldn't come over. I suppose you could add them manually, and then yes, you would be able to go ahead and send forms to them in onboard without them being quote unquote hired. Or you could send them to the hired stage that will send them over into onboard, and maybe at that point you'll change them to another stage, maybe pending hire, whatever the situation might be. But it sounds like to me you would need to get them over into onboard in some capacity, and then yes, you could send them over some forms for completion.
Totally agree with that. Next question is, I would like to know how to integrate Facebook into the launch process.
Okay, with that, let's come into our jobs table. We'll come over to launch. And we have Twitter and LinkedIn as options, as you can see. I believe you would have to use the manual posting link. So in your setup, you could create a source for Facebook. If Facebook will accept a URL link in the posting, you can include one of these two URLs here. The first one will take them to the job listing page. The second one will take them into the application. So we'll bypass that job description and take them into the employment application. That will track them as having come from Facebook. Once they apply, the system will know based on this unique code here how to tie that to Facebook.
Great, thanks, Carol. And you know what? What Carol is showing you right now is under a section there called manual posting links. And what Carol just described would be the same process that you would use to post your jobs on niche sites. So if you post your jobs on a technical college site or an association site or an alumni site, something along those lines where we don't have an integration already developed, you grab those manual posting links that Carol highlighted, and if that job board or posting spot allows you to input a live link, then you can copy and paste that manual posting link. And when candidates see your jobs, they can click on the link and come right into ApplicantStack to apply. And the beauty of that is no matter where your candidates see your jobs posted, you're managing all of them from within ApplicantStack.
Okay,
all right.
There's that question. It may be an option. I don't know if it's in your best interest, but let's say Facebook doesn't accept that URL. It may be an option through JobTarget. JobTarget has 25,000 plus sites for you to post to. But I might try that manual posting link first before I explored that option a little bit.
Yep. The manual posting link, I think, is a good option because, again, candidates can come right into ApplicantStack and apply. I mean, it's the same way with JobTarget, but it seems like it might be a little direct, more direct through a manual posting link. I am looking at the questions box, Carol.
Okay.
And I'm staring at it like I'm waiting for questions to just magically come up, and I'm not seeing any questions. This might be one of our shortest Ask Me Anything hours in history.
Okay, I do see the link for the Recruit webinar on the 16th popped up in the chat box, so everyone can access that. Okay.
Oh, wait, we do have a question. How do we use ApplicantStack to collect unsolicited resumes?
Sure. In my mind, that means a couple of things. One option, we have a general job posting I'm not sure if I have that turned on, but let's go find out. If we open my job board, here we go. We have a general job. If you would like to submit an application for general consideration for future openings, please click here. We can submit a general application. So maybe there's not an opening currently that they're a fit for, but they want to express general interest. That might be one option for you. And I'll show you where you can turn that on. And then I will, there may be another thing that's referencing. So let's go ahead and address the first option first. You would come into your setup, to your job board, to your public job board, and edit settings. You would have to create a general job first, but then you would go ahead and select that and save that. And that will appear on your job board as a general application. The second thing in my mind that might reference is if you are going out onto, let's say, Dice or Monster, or LinkedIn, you're doing a search, you can go ahead and use these options here, create candidate, upload resume, or if you get those resumes to yourself via email, you can upload an email to get them into the system. You would simply select the job that you would like them to go into. You would add your files. The system will do the best that it can to parse them in to that job. Once they're in the system, you could go ahead and email blast them or communicate with your candidates. But that would be the other kind of passive recruitment that I'm thinking of that might reference.
Yep. I'm with you, Carol. I have absolutely nothing to add. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah. All right. The next question is, as an administrator, is there a way to see the pipeline summary for all of my hiring managers?
Let's see here. So the pipeline summary shows your jobs and candidates. So I'm going to say, let's see here, we can see all jobs. And that should open up, if you're an account administrator, you could select all jobs here. And I believe that should open it up for you. I don't believe it will be broken down by hiring manager specifically, but you should be able to see all jobs.
Yep. And of course, if you do go into jobs, you can filter by hiring manager from the jobs table as well.
Great point, Ellen. So if we go to our jobs table, expand our filters. Oh, well, I don't see hiring manager here, but we have other categories that we could certainly filter by to help you with that.
Click on the downward facing caret, please, for my jobs, Carol.
Jobs. Oh, okay. There you go. I was looking for hiring manager. Thank you.
Right. So that's how you can find specific hiring manager jobs anyway. All right, I hope we've answered that question. Next question is, why is Missouri not an option for state in job target?
I'm not sure if that's referencing maybe a Missouri State job board. That would be a question I'm thinking for job target. Is there a specific job board that you're looking for when we say Missouri?
Yeah, so when working with Job Target, our partner, they are constantly evaluating additional job boards. So that would be a question for Job Target. And if you click on the Job Target link, there is a link to contact Job Target, something like that. I'm not looking at it right now. The other option, Melanie, would be to use one of those manual posting links if you are looking to advertise jobs, say on your Department of Labor, Missouri Department of Labor job board or Employment Security Commission, whatever it may be. All right, next question, Carol, is why is that we receive applications from out of the country? I've seen an increase on these applications.
That could be a number of things. Unfortunately, we have no control over who's applying to your job. So it could be that someone's picking up on that posting, it's being scraped, it's being posted somewhere. Unfortunately, we just don't have control over that. So what you could do is maybe set up a question Are you local to the area for this job? Something of that sort. Maybe set up a scoring option with a knockout. So if they answer no, you could easily filter them out. You could also use your search functionality and search for keywords within so many miles of a zip code if that's of concern. And then that will allow you to filter out as well within so many miles of a zip code.
Right. My knee-jerk reaction to that is absolutely a questionnaire with a knockout question saying, do you live within 45 miles of, Raleigh, North Carolina, something like that. And then if a candidate answers the wrong way, being no, then you can disposition that candidate and move them to a field or a stage like do not pursue.
Yep, and so under candidates and search, you would go ahead and type in your keywords. You can search the resumes and the cover letters, and then restrict that within so many miles of that zip code that you're looking for.
All right, the next question from Maria is, do we have the ability to add questions to applications?
Okay, so that would partially depend. If you are talking about our standard application for employment, this one does have an advanced layout. So if you want to make changes, if it's minor, you can go ahead and contact our technical support team via the question mark in the upper right, and just be very specific exactly what questions and exactly where you need those questions to appear, and they can help you with that if it's minor changes. You can create your own questions via a library new questionnaire, and you would simply build that out. So is that a yes/no question? Is it a multiple choice? Single line text, multi-line text, date, maybe when are you available to start? That could be a question. So it really kind of depends on if it's our standard employment application or if these are questions in addition to the application. But again, our support team can help you, and they are reachable. Just be as specific as you can on exactly where those need to go.
All righty, next question, Carol. Where do I go to modify my home screen? I have removed the announcement board and don't know how to get it back.
Once you click that red X, I would say maybe our support team can pull that back for you. I'm not positive on that, but I might contact support and see if they can get that announcement section back for you.
Yeah, and it's also my understanding that if you do eliminate the announcement section, once a new announcement is posted there, that the section should come back on your homepage. But as Carol stated, go ahead and submit a technical support ticket, and I bet that announcement section can come back to your homepage. All right, let's see. Next question. Oh, this is clarification from Melanie. No, it's just when posting it asks for location, city and state, and Missouri is not an option under state.
Huh. Okay, I don't have a live job target account, so I don't know if I'll be able to see that, but let's click on post job. Let's see how far we can get. Oh, and it's here. It's out of order, but it's here. I'm not sure why. You would think it would be up here with the M's, but it's down here.
Wow. So, all right. We should probably share that with Job Target that they need to alphabetize their options.
Yeah.
Melanie, I hope that answers your question. No wonder why you couldn't find it. My goodness. All right. We got an okay from Melanie and a thank you from Maria. And Kelly is saying it doesn't come back. And Kelly is referring to the announcement section. So, Kelly, thank you for making us aware, because we are now posting all of those links to webinars and Ask Me Anything hours in that announcement section. And if it doesn't come back with a new posting, then that is not good. So I'm going to make a note of that, and let's see if we can resolve that, not only for you, Kelly, but for anybody else who might be in your situation. So thank you for letting us know about that. Okay, Melanie sees Missouri now. No wonder, again, it was out of alphabetical order, so that's good for us to know as well. Next question, Carol, is I work for a very small business and I've taken over talent attraction process. My predecessor is not available. How can I get lessons and training from beginner level up?
Okay, so I would highly encourage you to attend our Recruit and Onboard webinars, which are upcoming. And let me go ahead and go back to the home page. We've got Recruit webinar on 5/16, so you should be able to click there for more information. Those are going to provide a good foundation. It's going to be a start to finish kind of review of the system for you. And I am jotting down a note to send you some quick getting started resources that we have that will help you as well. So under our help center, if I type in getting started, that should pull up. We've got videos, we've got screenshots for you. We've got Recruit. If you're using Onboard, we have Onboard as well. So I will get some links your way, and that's going to help you as well. But highly, highly recommend the webinars that we have.
Yeah, that one on the 16th, Reggie will provide a great product overview. And Carol's actually presenting on the 16th. And then from that point, you can determine what ApplicantStack functionality suits your recruiting process. So that is a great starting point.
Okay, welcome back.
Thank you, he's registered. All right, I like to hear that. Next question, Carol. Candidates will have access to hiring forms and employee handbook as long as they are inactive on ApplicantStack, correct?
Okay, hiring forms and employee handbook. So that is Onboard. And if they are in an inactive stage, so if the stage that they are in, let's say terminated, is designated as an inactive stage, they will lose access to the system. So you would want to make sure they are in a stage that is deemed active in your setup.
Yeah, and I'm wondering whether or not a word was missing here. And I'm just going to rephrase what Carol just said. Candidates will not have access. And actually, I'm going to replace candidates with hires because I suspect we're talking about onboarding. So hires will not have access to hiring forms and an employee handbook if they are in an inactive stage. So clarification from Maria, we are talking about hires, we are talking about onboard. So again, if you don't want an employee, and for example, if that employee has been terminated, to have access to any onboarding information, then you do want to move that hire, that terminated hire, to an inactive stage. All right. How do we edit or see the automated email applicants get when we change stages?
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our candidates tab. We'll go ahead and send an email. We'll email candidate. Oh, sorry, we're talking about stage change. So let's talk about the workflow. Let's change the stage. Let's go ahead and change them from new to, let's say, interview. Let's submit that. At least in my setup, I have a pop-up that opens up. I can see the email that will be sent. I can send that immediately or delay that. If I don't want that to go out, I can delete that. As far as editing that message, you can trigger templates at a stage change. So in that case, editing it becomes a little tricky if you want to customize that. Let's talk about just outright emailing them. That would allow you to modify that. So if I email the candidate, I can choose my template. From there, you can simply modify this message that appears here. So that might be another way to handle that. Rather than trigger that as stage change, just outright send them a quick email, and that will allow you to edit that.
So Carol, I'm going to add something that I've encountered. Can you please go back to a candidate and move them to another stage where an email is triggered?
Yep, let's go ahead, new to interview, let's submit that.
Okay, and so the email that's being triggered there, this text is very small and it's very light. So the email that's being triggered, the name of the email that's residing in the library is called interview request. So it's very small, very light print. We've asked for that to be modified to stand out a bit more. So again, that's one means of knowing what email is being triggered. I don't know if you've seen that or not. I didn't originally see it when we were looking at this option. This was kind of this user interface was modified a few months ago. And then I recently was working with a customer who hadn't seen it either. So it's very hard to overlook what email is being sent at a stage change. The other thing you can do if you really want to go through your emailing sequence is to create a test candidate and have your personal email be associated with that test candidate and run yourself through the stages of your configuration. And then of course, any account administrator can modify what emails are being triggered at what stage change as well. All right, I hope we answered that question, Natasha. I'm going to make a little plug for premium texting as well. Emails can be triggered at stage changes. And if you have premium texting in your account, texts can be triggered at stage changes as well. And as we've discussed previously, candidates and or hires are far more responsive to texts than they are to emails. Again, premium texting is an additional fee, but if you're interested in premium texting, there is a link on the homepage in the announcement section to premium texting. If that announcement section is not part of your homepage, and I'm gonna ask technical support about that, you can access our help center and just input premium texting, and there's a great video there on premium texting, which again allows text to trigger at a stage change and allows the functionality we call text to apply.
Yep, and I just hopped into our library really quick so you can see we can have email templates and also text templates. And once you add it to your library, that should automatically pull over into your workflow.
All right, so Natasha, I hope we answered that question. I don't see any other questions, Carol, coming through right now, but two things that we've alluded to and really kind of shown are the help center and then how to submit a ticket. But both of those options are through the white question mark in the upper right-hand corner. And then from the drop-down, you can choose Help Center. You can input the functionality that you're interested in the search bar. And, oh, that's Ask a Question. That's, all right, Carol's back in the Help Center, and you can input whatever functionality you're interested in, like premium texting there in the search bar. The other thing that is a really good resource, and this is going to be directed back to Reggie, is that Recruit Getting Started guide. And I can't remember, Carol, whether or not you mentioned that to Reggie earlier. But one of the things there that you can look into is, again, that Getting Started guide for admins. And then the other option from the dropdown, of course, and that's where Carol was, is Ask a Question. And if you input information into this template, it will get routed to our technical support team, and one of our stellar technical support reps will respond directly to you. And I know Carol did mention this earlier, provide as much detail as possible to eliminate a little bit of that back and forth that might take place. I am looking to see if any other questions have been submitted, Carol.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any that we haven't covered.
Same for me. If any questions do come up after this webinar closes down, again, the best way is to click on Ask a Question, and your question will get routed to the appropriate person. And I think this is the last Ask Me Anything for April. And our next session, I believe, is May 16th, which is the Recruit webinar.
Okay, thank you, Ellen, for the help.
All right, we're getting some thank yous, Carol.
Amazing, fantastic. Glad it
Yep.
was helpful.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to seeing everyone in the future. So thank you for attending today, and we look forward to it.
Yeah.
Everyone, take care.
All right. Thank you all. Bye-bye.